ready for at least 25 word origins, really fast. Mystery, from the Greek word mayan, which means to close or to shut. This is also the source of the word mute. Enemy literally means not a friend, from the Latin in, not, and amicus, friend. Escape, out of your cloak, kappa, when someone grabs you, ex kappa, escape. And the word kappa is ultimately from the Latin word caput, which means head. And this is where we get the word capital, or baseball cap, or even hubcap. Indent comes from the Latin dens, meaning tooth. Indentation is something that looks like jagged tooth marks. Dandelion, or dente de leon, which means tooth of the lion. Eliminate is from the Latin ex, meaning out, and the Latin word limen, which means the threshold of the door. So to eliminate something is to put it out your door, to get rid of it. And the word sublime is related. It is to put something above your threshold, above the door, to elevate it, to exalt it. Distraction comes from the Latin trahere, which means to draw away. This is where we get the word tractor and to drag. Amnesia, from the Greek a, meaning without, amnesis, memory, without a memory. Syndrome, from the Greek word syn, meaning together, and drome comes from the word for racecourse. These are symptoms that usually run together. Decimate, to reduce, an army, for example, by 1/10. Camp or campaign comes from the Latin campus, meaning field, the champion, or champagne. Session, as in a session of Congress, comes from the Latin sedere, which means to sit. Ambulance comes from the Latin ambulare, which means to walk about. So an ambulance is literally a walking hospital. Dysentery comes from dis, meaning bad, and enteron, meaning intestine. So literally, bad bowels. Infect, from the Latin inficere, meaning to stain or to die. Vaccine comes from the Latin word for cow, vacca. Pupil comes from the Latin pupilla, which means little doll. Sergeant comes from the Latin serviens, which means serving. Religion comes from the Latin religare, which means to bind. Sacred comes from the Latin sacrare, means to set apart. Profane, before or outside of the temple. Pro meaning outside, and phanes meaning the temple. Lord, from the Old English lafware, which means keeper of the bread, and lady, which is related to Lord, lactie, is the kneader of the bread. And finally companion or company, which means bread fellow or friend. From com, together, and ponies, bread. Now you're wise to a lot of words.